going on, you guys? If you're new here, my name is Morgan. Welcome back to another video. So there are a few things before we get started. Because of the recent release of a new game that was supposed to be, well, I guess you could consider it a DLC. I'm a bit behind, a bit distracted, as you can tell. I've been very, very busy. I've got to do a new setup now. It's been a long couple days, but new release has really gotten me distracted and really kept me really busy. And I just recently beat the new release, so I'm playing it over, but again, distracted. But anyways, let's get into the video. So in the last video, even though it's been, I think it's been about a week since I did the last video, I was talking about microchips. And today we're going to do another video about microchips because I was going to do a story time regarding microchips and the unfortunate thing I was told and the importance of microchips. So microchips keep your dog out of the animal shelter, whether you get a well-bred dog or a rescue dog. Fauna, who is now Sprite, came with a microchip. All of my dogs are microchipped. Anything new, any new puppies I get are microchipped. If we ever have puppies, they are microchipped before going home. And the type of microchips we use, I will always be listed on the microchip, but I also use those for my dogs too, because it still always lists me. But the importance of microchips keeps the shelter system clean of the dogs that shouldn't have gotten loose but did. And it happens, you know, sometimes on the regular, but whenever you have an accident or a fire, it does happen. So the importance of microchips is really, really there. But I had, this is about a story. This is more of a story time of somebody that told me this. And unfortunately, it really left an ick in my mouth. And if you ever hear a breeder or anybody say this, it's just a big ick. And it's just definitely wrong. So the number one thing they said to me was, why microchip? It does not keep animals out of the animal shelter. It does not keep your dogs out of the animal shelter, which is 100% wrong. So she's had multiple of her dogs taken out of her yard or gotten loose. And I always have a microchip reader on me, as you saw in the last video, but you cannot, it doesn't give you the address of them, but you can search the microchip online, and it'll send you to basically the national database for microchips to tell you where it's registered. So there you can search the microchip, because all microchips are registered somewhere, just about. So she said, well, it doesn't keep animals out of the animal shelter, it doesn't keep your dog safe, it doesn't keep your cat safe, which is 100% wrong. So now, if somebody does not pick up the animal or decides not to scan it for a microchip, that is different, but a lot of the people I've dealt with actually scan the dog for a microchip, take the dog to the vet for a microchip, take it to the animal shelter to scan it for a microchip. So it does keep them out of any harm's way conditions. Now, you know, I've never had a dog get loose, never lost a dog that, you know, in general. But everybody is microchipped just in case it does happen. You know, I can open the door tomorrow, I could have something happen tomorrow, and some of the dogs get loose, or a dog gets loose, and nobody would know if the microchip was not registered to me. They could call the manufacturer, but the microchip's not registered. All the microchips are registered to me. Now, the ones that have come from ethical, well-known, well-bred breeders, like Zeus, his microchip is always registered to his breeder. So if they cannot get a hold of me, they will call her, and I'm very, very close to her. And that goes the same for Silverwing and Rainey's, who also came from the same breeder. So that's the good thing, you know. With microchips from breeders, if they can't get a hold of you, they will call the breeder, and sometimes, and most of the time actually, breeders have a master list of all the puppies that have gone home, and they can search the puppies by the number and search for the dogs and see who it is registered under. Me, I'm actually working on my master list for those whenever I do have puppies, so I can just search them super duper easily, whether I do it in Docs or Excel. That's a mission that I'm trying to work on right now. For somebody just to say, you know, what is the importance of having a microchip when it doesn't keep the dogs out of the animal shelter is just 100% wrong. Because at the end of the day, they can call the breeder or they can call the family and say, hey, your dog is here. A friend of mine, the lady I got Rue and Cappuccino from, got called from out of state because a lady lost her dog, and they couldn't get a hold of her. So they called the breeder, and the breeder's like, oh my goodness, you know, I know this person, it's one of my families, please hold the dog. And then it took her a couple hours to get a hold of the lady, and somebody had been watching her dog when the dog got loose. So luckily mom and dog were reunited, and the breeder was very, very happy about that. But again, this is the importance of microchipping your pets. Now, sometimes you do get the rare animal shelters or rare rescues that will not return a dog to the breeder, which I have seen stories about sight hounds with that. And that is an unfortunate situation, but you know, all we can do is what we can do and try to keep just in general, whether you have a rescue or a well-bred, ethically bred dog or a backyard-bred dog, make sure you have your dog microchipped to keep them out of the animal shelter system, because it does keep it cleaned up. It keeps you from, having to look for your pets and your pets being readopted out. Now, there are horror stories. I have seen horror stories about puppies going home to families, even though the dog was microchipped. But number one, just keep your dogs microchipped. Again, Fee-Nano is one of my favorite ones. I do recommend Fee-Nano. Not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. Zeus is registered with Buddy ID, as is Ghost. I did Ghost immediately as soon as I got Ghost, because Ghost is deaf and she is 50% blind. Luckily, they do let you leave notes, so if I have to leave a note, I can say, and I left one on Ghost, I said, deaf, cannot hear, 50% blind in one eye, is her right eye, her blue eye. If found, please contact me immediately. Because while she's very, very friendly, she cannot hear in any way, shape, or form, so it could be a complicated mess to catch her, but I'm very careful with her, especially. But anyways, if you ever hear that, we don't microchip, that's a problem. Always trust the microchip. I like the microchips. Now, the needle on the microchips is huge. Puppies don't like it, but I definitely recommend doing microchipping for all your dogs. Whenever we do a spay or neuter, they're always microchipped at the same time. On rescues, they're always microchipped. On our puppies, they're always microchipped. It doesn't matter. Microchipping does save lives with your dogs. Big time. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I gotta go set up it looks a mess back there, so I'm gonna go set up that and work on that hopefully for the next video. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and as usual, you guys, we'll see you guys next time in the next video. See you guys later.